Welcome to the Rare Sats podcast, where we uncover Bitcoin's best-kept secrets, Rare Satoshis. Every episode, we dive into these hidden digital treasures, exploring their value, their history, and why collectors are obsessed. Whether you're here to learn or looking to collect, we'll give you the insights you need to stay ahead in the crypto game. Ready to join the hunt? Hit subscribe, and let's dive in. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Rare Sats podcast.
Glad to be back.
You ready to dive into a topic that's been lighting up Bitcoin Twitter? Uncommon sats.
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
First, a little brain teaser for you. Can you guess which ordinals collection was the very first to be inscribed on an uncommon sat?
Ooh, I'm going to have to think on that one.
Keep that question in mind as we go. For our listeners just tuning in, remember how Bitcoin can be broken down into these tiny fractions called Satoshis?
Yeah, like the pennies to Bitcoin's dollar?
Exactly. Well, picture this. Each Bitcoin block being mined is like a treasure chest.
Okay, I like where this is going.
And the very first Satoshi in that chest, that's something special. It's an uncommon sat.
It's a brilliant way to think about it. And when you consider how rare they are, it's kind of mind-blowing.
Seriously. Only about 6,929,999 uncommon sats will ever exist.
Compared to the quadrillions of regular sats out there, yeah.
No wonder people are going crazy for them.
You're telling me.
I was just scrolling through X and seeing posts about their prices basically doubling. Some uncommon sats from 2009 are going for like $5,000 each.
Yeah, there were a few big sales recently.
What's fueling this whole buying frenzy? Is it just hype, or is there more to it?
It's definitely not just hype. I mean, the scarcity is a big factor for sure. But uncommon sats, they're highly sought after for inscribing ordinals.
Oh, right. Ordinals, those one-of-a-kind digital assets that are like permanently tied to a specific Satoshi.
Precisely.
So it's like having a digital masterpiece etched onto the very first Satoshi of a Bitcoin block.
Exactly. It's a pretty cool concept when you think about it.
Super cool. Are we talking regular crypto exchanges for buying and selling these uncommon sats?
Not quite. Think more specialized marketplaces like Magisat, Magic Eden, Saturn BTC.
Oh, okay.
That's where all the uncommon sat action is happening these days. I've even been seeing posts about what they call sweeps.
Sweeps? What's that?
Where buyers are just like scooping up tons of uncommon sats all at once.
Yeah. Whoa, that's wild. Sounds like FOMO driving the market.
Yeah, some of it probably is good old fear of missing out. But imagine this. As uncommon sats keep getting more valuable, they become magnets for top-tier artists. Artists who want to inscribe their work on something truly unique and limited.
I see what you're saying.
It's a pretty fascinating dynamic.
So it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy where the more valuable they become, the more sought after they are, which drives the value up even higher.
Exactly. And speaking of sought after, remember the C's CTRL collection? They were some of the first to jump on the whole uncommon sats thing.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. Were they the only ones messing around with uncommon sats?
Not at all. Lil Peepos followed suit, but the collection that really made a splash was Commoners.
Commoners?
Yeah, they were the first 10,000-piece collection to ride that uncommon sat wave.
Wow.
It really showed just how much potential this space has.
So it sounds like uncommon sats are becoming way more than just a collector's item. It's almost like they're becoming a whole new asset class, fueled by their rarity and, of course, the ordinals connection.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on, for sure. What's particularly interesting is how it's blurring the lines between, the physical art world and the digital art world.
That's a really great point. Okay, so for our listeners who might be just getting into this whole uncommon sat thing, what's the one key takeaway they should know?
Uncommon sats are really carving out their own space in both the Bitcoin scene and the digital art scene. Their limited supply.
Yeah.
And their unique connection to ordinals are creating an opportunity unlike anything we've seen before.
Definitely an opportunity worth exploring. But before we get too far down that rabbit hole, let's see if you, our listener, can recall the answer to our question. Which ordinals collection was the first to have their work inscribed on an uncommon sat? We'll reveal the answer after a quick break.
It's a tough one. I can't wait to see if you got it right. It feels like we're watching a whole new world being born, doesn't it?
Yeah, the way uncommon sats are shaking things up.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It really makes you think. I mean, a single Satoshi used to be, basically insignificant.
Right.
But now they're commanding so much attention, so much value. It's pretty amazing.
It all comes back to that whole limited supply thing with Bitcoin, right?
Absolutely. Only 21 million Bitcoins ever. And by extension, a limited number of these special uncommon sats.
It's almost like a digital gold rush.
I like that analogy, but instead of panning for gold, people are searching for those rare, first minted Satoshis.
Exactly.
But just like with any gold rush, there's risk involved.
Yeah, can't ignore that.
This market is definitely speculative. I mean, the value of uncommon sats, it's driven by demand, by hype, by the whole Bitcoin market, which can be pretty volatile.
So there's a chance this whole uncommon sat bubble could burst.
It's definitely a possibility. Anyone jumping into the space needs to understand that.
Yeah.
Just because an uncommon sat from, say, 2009 sold for a few $1,000s today, doesn't mean it'll hold that value tomorrow.
That's a really good point.
High risk, high reward. Not for the faint of heart.
For sure.
But that being said, the potential upside, it's hard to ignore. We're seeing this crazy convergence of technology, art, and finance. And it's all playing out on the Bitcoin blockchain.
It's not even just about the money, right? There's a whole cultural shift happening too.
You got it.
This fusion of digital art and blockchain technology, it's changing how we view art, how we value it.
I agree. It's pretty exciting. Uncommon sats with inscribed ordinals, it's a whole new form of artistic expression, verifiable, immutable, and accessible to basically anyone.
So we've got the scarcity, the buying frenzy, the artistic potential, and, of course, the risk. It's a pretty captivating story unfolding right in front of us.
It really is.
Yeah.
And speaking of stories, have you thought about our question of the day? Any guesses about that first ordinals collection inscribed on an uncommon sat?
I have an answer.
Ooh, all right, let's hear it. All right, lay it on me. What's your guess?
I'm going to go with Lil Peepos. They just seem like they'd be early adopters,
They were early for sure, but the first collection to actually get their ordinals on an uncommon sat, that was C's CTRL.
C's CTRL. Oh, man, you're totally right. That name is perfect.
Right.
They really did seize a whole new frontier.
It shows you how innovative this whole space is. They saw the potential of uncommon sats and ordinals way before most people even knew what they were.
And to think, this is just the beginning. Who knows what crazy art and tech we'll see emerge as more people figure out what uncommon sats can do.
It's a wild time to be following this stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The line between digital and physical art is getting blurrier by the day. Traditional ideas about ownership are being challenged. Even the definition of value is changing right in front of us.
It's a wild ride for sure. So for our listeners who want to dive deeper into this world, where should they start?
I'd say check out those marketplaces we talked about earlier. Magisat, Magic Eden, Saturn BTC, get a feel for what's out there, explore some collections, see what artists are doing with ordinals on uncommon sats. It's a great way to get your feet wet.
And of course, always do your own research. This space is moving so fast, you got to stay informed.
Absolutely. There are tons of resources out there, and the Bitcoin community is always willing to help. Don't be afraid to ask questions and learn from others.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into the world of uncommon sats. Huge thanks to you for being here and dropping all this knowledge on us.
Happy to do it. Anytime.
And to all our listeners out there, the world of uncommon sats is full of potential, so keep your ears open, stay informed, and maybe you'll be the next one to seize that big opportunity.